Unpacking my Matco Wheels and brakes. Looks like it's pretty nicely packed in here as I pull it apart. And there we have it. And also in here, I ended up going and getting the axle to replace the standard axle, and the spacers that you needed for these as well. But very nicely packed. Looks very good. Oh, look, comes with a book. Well, that's different. I'm glad I didn't print it off. Anyway, next thing is to start getting the tires mounted on these, the tubes obviously, and start mounting them on the plane. Hi everybody, this is for me installing this WHL Axle 24, which in the nose wheel of the RV10, this appears to be a much better solution for kind of doing the setup of the wheels. You can adjust how much the wheel turns on the wheel bearings, so how tight that is, independent of the nose wheel. And so one of the things that you have to do here for this is you need to drill a hole. So what happens is you can then index this and you can set how tight you want it based on these. But anyway, the big thing here is a couple of prep things. You obviously have to take the wheel off, but I don't have it on. And I have seen a couple of notes about you want to wait until you put the fairing on because that could interfere with it. What I actually did is, if you can see it on here, this orange line, I took the bracket for the wheel fairing and I just put it on like I think it's going to get mounted, drew the two lines, and then I figure as long as I'm inside those two lines, I should be good to go. So once you do that, you take the bolt that you're going to use for the axle anyway. You put it in from the opposite end. So if you look in the book, you can see here in this picture, now this guy is upside down, but you'll see the bolt comes in from this side. So I got the bolt in from the other side. It wasn't quite clear to me just kind of how the orientation was with this, but I'm guessing it's this way based on everything I've seen. And so anyway, you put your bolt through opposite end. You have it slide through this like so, pretty straightforward. You then take this axle. There's actually a nut that goes on the other end of it, an adjustment. So you take that off, you take this, and one-handed here, so bear with me. But basically you put that over the end of the bolt. And then once you've got that, you want to line that little hole up with wherever you're going to put it. So, you know, I put it right about here, which is about halfway. Okay. And then once you've got that, you then take a 3/16" bit and you're going to just drop that down the hole like so. And you're going to use that to mark where the hole needs to be cut or drilled. So you just kind of spin it around a few times, which I've already done. Once that's done, you can take this all apart. And what you're left with is a mark right here on mine where you've actually got to go drill the hole that you need there. And if you look here, you're using that smaller bit, 3/16, to mark the hole, the center of the hole, and then you actually drill it out to 1/4 inch. But I thought I'd share that. It's not all that clear from anything I've seen, and you know, I like it to be nice and clear. But as far as I can tell, that seems to be what you need to do with it. And after that, you can then start mounting your wheel onto the axle, and you can do balancing of your wheel if you want to. I did actually pick up some weights just in case, but I'll probably do the static balancing here as they've shown. I mean, most of the wheel halves that you get from Matco They have alignment marks on them. So I think they're balanced at the factory. But with the tire on there and the tube in it, I figure, I may as well do it and see. If it needs to be, great. If not, it's fine too. Thought I'd share that, and hopefully that's helpful. Again, not an expert on this, but it seems to make sense. And hopefully, after you're done, this is what it looks like. So you've got this bolt in here that locks the axle, keeps it from moving, and you've got the axle bolt going through, and I've got the 2 shims in here. And that's it. So I'm guessing that's what you need to do with it. Next is putting the tire on there and see how it works. I'm not exactly sure what happened to my video that I did for this, assembling it, but you know, carrying on from where I left off, I put the axle in here, the bolt is through it, tires mounted. These are split rims, so basically you just take the 2 pieces apart. I put talcum powder on the inside of the wheel and on the tube, that way it was easier to move it around. But you can see how it kind of goes in here and it gets adjusted. Oh, one of the things that this rim is the one from Vans. So one of the things people talked about was this valve stem might hit. But if you look here, you'll see it doesn't. It clears it by at least 1 millimeter. So it seems pretty good to me. But, you know, yeah, so basically that is the front wheel. And I've showed you the other ones. And then I also use a little device for packing the bearings. So one of the things you need to do is you pack the bearings. And it was a cheap little device, but let me go see that and I'll show you that as well. This is what I used to pack the bearings. Worked really well. It's pretty straightforward. If I can take it out of the box, you can actually see there's still grease in here. This is just a cover to keep all the gunk out. But basically, I'm not going to touch it now, but if you unscrew this, you put your bearing down in it, screw it back down, and then if you push down, you can watch on the sides to see the grease come out through the sides of the bearing. So, like I said, it worked really well. It was cheap. I just bought it at the local automotive store. So, Performance Tool bearing packer, portable. Yeah, works really well. I'm impressed. But I figured I'd share that as well.